Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the back and forth between X-Men 97 showrunner and help creator Beau DeMayo, as well as the Walt Disney Company and everybody over there at Disney Marvel Animation, the back and forth is going on and it is not stopping anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen, because now, after the insane allegations that have been come out of a bunch of leakers and a bunch of rumors out there, I'm sure they had all of their inside sources at Disney that were feeding them of completely and totally legit information, because Disney officially has been completely and totally mum on this whole situation, because of course if they made any official statements that would be legally binding, but if they leak things out there to all of their wonderful little people out there like Jeff Snyder and some of the rest of the people out there, then of course that all that stuff gets put out into the public discourse. It automatically gets assumed as the proper thing, and of course it ends up making a lot of splashy headlines. Well, as of right now, boys and girls, this back and forth is not done, because after those spicy headlines about some spicy pictures being sent to employees, well, Beau DeMayo via his lawyers out there shooting back, and that's probably the best decision you can, to talk to your lawyer at this point and let everything kind of work its way out there in the public sphere, and of course in the actual court of public opinion and the laws out there as well. It's because we need this to actually end up getting out there. We need to get it adjudicated. We need to get all of this kind of stuff out there, because if this stuff is not true, if they're trying to make these kind of slanderous allegations against somebody right now, because that's the thing about this, making these kind of accusations and having this kind of stuff leaked out there to the media can ruin a person's career going forward. And the real question is, who would be doing that? Why would they be doing that? And there's some interesting tidbits here that are posited by his lawyer and a few other people out there as to why this might actually going on, because as you're probably well aware, X-Men 97 was a huge hit with the fans getting an absolutely incredible audience score out there on Rotten Tomatoes. And well, who knows? Maybe a little jealousy is actually what's causing a lot of this out there, considering Beau DeMayo has actually made probably the only thing that Disney Marvel Animation has made in quite a while that most of the fans actually enjoyed. So we're going to check out this article from That Park Place, getting all the juicy details of what's going on, a slight recap on what's been happening, and of course what the most recent statements that are out there being made. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we are inching our way closer and closer to 1,200, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let us know where you think about all of this. Where do you think all of this actually flies? Who do you think might be telling the truth? And are you hashtag Team DeMayo, or are you hashtag Team Disney when it comes to all of this crazy stuff? So, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet John F. Trent. X-Men 97 showrunner Beau DeMayo's attorney denies allegations he sent nude photos to staffers. And obviously this would be highly inappropriate and would certainly give you a reason to get out the door quite quickly. But it's kind of been weird, some of the statements that have been made by official Disney employees. So an attorney representing X-Men 97 showrunner Beau DeMayo denied allegations that DeMayo sent nude photos to staffers that resulted in his firing, because we haven't even actually got like an official word from the Walt Disney Company or anyone else that actually works for them to actually even say that. So DeMayo was reportedly fired from X-Men in 97 in March, with The Hollywood Reporters, Boris Kitt and Aaron Couch writing at the time he will no longer be promoting the show or moving forward with future seasons. The duo also noted that DeMayo's company email was shut down, and cast and crew for the series were notified he would no longer be working on the project. DeMayo also shut down his Instagram account. However, in an interview with EW, Marvel's animation Bride Whitmer denied that DeMayo was fired. He told the outlet, "I can't talk about the details, but I can say that Beau had a real respect and passion for these characters, wrote what I think are excellent scripts that are really the rest of the team were able to draw inspiration from to build this amazing show that's on screen." When specifically asked if he would describe DeMayo's departure as a firing, Wimburn said, "I don't. We parted ways is the best that I could say." Obviously, this is then the closest thing to an official word we have got from Disney. Everything else is rumors. Everything else is speculation. Everything's like, well, our insiders tell us. And because of these situations, because we know how a lot of these major corporations have operated in the past, like we know Disney leaks potential castings. All of Hollywood leaks potential castings to test the waters, to see how fans react, see how the audience reacts, see how all of their, of course, little talking heads out there react. It's the same kind of thing that we have seen over and over again. So it's not any different from them leaking information like this from an insider to say these kind of things and put out these kind of allegations. Once again, this is the closest thing we've gotten to an official word from the Walt Disney Company or from anyone at Marvel as to why DeMayo actually was removed from the project. And of course, if you haven't missed the video over what we've talked about DeMayo and going over his actual response, his clap back, if you will, over what they all said, and this is absolutely insane. So movie studios responded to the accusation saying DeMayo was terminated following an internal investigation. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with them immediately and we have no further affiliation with Marvel. I mean, literally, that's the statement they put out in replying to him, but that tells us nothing. All they say is a roguish nature of findings. What does that mean? They don't give us any specifics whatsoever. And then, of course, a source tells them it had to do with inappropriate conduct and all of that kind of stuff. But his lawyer is actually coming out and making an official statement. Now, notice this is from their insiders, a source with knowledge of the investigation and evidence. That's all they say, right? But DeMayo's lawyer is coming out and flat out denying these allegations, making absolute statements out there. And of course, DeMayo was saying he would be true to the truth would eventually come out. And this is one of them situations. So following the post, Brian Friedman, DeMayo's lawyer, informed Deadline, having much experience with Disney, the playbook is always the same. Family friendly on the outside, but secretly attempting to plant illegal, unconscionable items in contracts that silence the truth and stop the employer/customer from asserting basic constitutional rights. As we will explain through detailed examples, which we will roll out in detail one by one, Disney's model is very clear and in a repetitive, illegal pattern. Once it gets challenged or exposed, the gaslighting and redirection of the blame toward anyone willing to tell the truth starts through an international, well-oiled publicity machine. Exactly. And like I said, we've got plenty of examples of this over the years, over the decades of them doing exactly this, whether it be leaking out potential scripts, whether it be leaking out potential story plot lines, or trying to leak out rumors to discredit anybody who might potentially be able to expose the House of Mouse for the corrupt organization they absolutely are. And we have seen this happen time and time again. How much weird stuff have we seen come out of Disney? How much stuff has we seen leaked inside of this? This is just another example. This might end up getting super spicy, depending on how far DeMayo is willing to go to spill the beans on how the inner workings of the Walt Disney Company and Disney Marvel specifically actually operate. Friedman also stated, Beau DeMayo wants nothing from Marvel Disney except the truth. He will bravely tell the truth. So will I stand by. And it wasn't really done there either. Following this report, this is when all the Jeff Snyder stuff started coming out, right? Another one of those insiders. Now, given Jeff Snyder has been right in the past, we have covered some of the rumors he has, but at the end of the day, this is also one of those places that I personally believe Jeff Snyder is one of those people they intentionally leak things to just because they know he's got a big podcast and a lot of reach and a lot of people listen to him just to test the waters with things. Or in this case, try to put out some inappropriate stuff to try to discredit anything DeMayo says, because essentially he says he sent spicy photos to himself and other people to the young male staffers. Now, we do know DeMayo is a homosexual man, but that doesn't necessarily mean this is just something they're going to go with. Are they intentionally trying to slander a gay man? That sounds like a lot like what it is. So it goes on with all of the rest of that kind of stuff and everything else. So Mo Hosen, the streamer, would reiterate Snyder's claim, talking about all of this kind of stuff, talking about all of the inappropriate things and everything else. But Friedman, the attorney, responded to the allegations, telling the streamer, you realize that Disney allowed Beau to have an OnlyFans page while working for the company. No clue if someone quit while he was showrunner, but it's like every single day on every single show. My client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reports, i.e. his employees. This is a bald-faced lie and defamatory, which it is. All of those are accurate statements. Now, it's hard to claim defamatory when, of course, it's leaked from insiders, which is why Disney does this stuff. We know about Disney lawyers. We've heard how vicious and crazy and nut jobs they are, right? We've also seen some of the crazy excuses they try to come up with to convince judges of how to dismiss cases out hand, which, by the way, we've got more information coming on that story here very shortly as well. And that's what it all comes down to, right? This is a marketing campaign. They are trying to discredit anything DeMayo says, so that way no one will hold any credence to the allegations and accusations he will make towards the Disney company. But if this does end up going to court, then that could be something that all of this could get exposed. It all has to come out in trial. It all has to come out under oath. That could be very interesting, though. But they do point out very interesting here. Interestingly, he did seemingly confirm that DeMayo was reported to HR by multiple people. No one who reported Beau to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That is simply untrue. Now, this initially you would think, well, this could end up being really bad. Maybe he actually did do something inappropriate. Why else would somebody report them to HR if they didn't do something inappropriate? Boys and girls, this is the Walt Disney Company. Beau DeMayo could have simply told one of them Look, we're not changing Rogue to a lesbian. She's never been a lesbian. She's always been interested in dudes. The very first boy she ever kissed, all of this other kind of stuff. We're not going to do that. Look, we're not inserting your weird fantasies into our games or into our show. That right there, I guarantee you, would be enough to hurt somebody's fifis over there at Disney Marvel and have them run straight to HR. And if anything, truth be told, this is just my humble common nerd's opinion. That's probably the more likely story over all of this. We've heard the rumors of Feige getting rid of all of the woke producers in the Disney Plus series and in the movies, right? Haven't heard nothing about the animation studios. All we've heard is he got rid of the woke producers. Well, a lot of this happened around all of that same time. So what if one of those people, because of jealousy, because DeMayo's show was a success and was loved almost universally by the fans out there, what if this is exactly what that was? What if it was just a bunch of woke crybabies crying about a gay man telling him you're not turning characters in X-Men 97 gay just for no reason? I'd imagine that might be the only reason Morph ever had a situation. But this is what's really funny, too. As a proud gay black man, Disney knew exactly who he was and what he stood for. And that's why they did not tell him to stop his fans page. They let him be himself, which allowed his creativity to thrive, Friedman wrote. He then alleged DeMayo was fired and attempted to replace him out of jealousy. When they objected to his free speech rights and not complying with illegal NDAs, a certain person over there tried to replace him because he was becoming more successful than other creators. Like I said, this is the first time an animated series that has come out of Disney Marvel was actually universally loved by the fans. Ask Disney if separation agreement illegally silenced him. Let me know what they say. Don't print this crap. It's wrong and defamatory. So we'll see what happens, boys and girls. This is the back and forth that's going on. Disney's had its side. They say it erroneous. They don't want to give anything specific. The other guy out there saying, well, it wasn't really that kind of thing out there. It wasn't really like an official firing. It was kind of more of a partying of the ways. And then, of course, you've got all of these leaked allegations coming out there from Jeff Snyder, essentially something more that I would think is nothing more than Disney out there trying to discredit DeMayo. And you know what? The jealousy thing wouldn't surprise me at all. Anybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear knows that the Walt Disney Company and Disney Marvel is in a bad place and have been for a long time. The majority of their series have failed miserably. It's been flop after flop. It's been the same thing with the movies for the most part, with the exception of like Deadpool and Wolverine, which was not put out and not directed under the old regime in any way, shape, or form, have failed. They have lost billions of dollars. And would it surprise anybody for a single second that they decided to point fingers at Beau DeMayo because they knew the quality of his stuff and the way he could stick to the lore was better than anything they could do, and it was a me or him situation? Well, he's the woke guy. He's the gay man. Look at the stuff he's putting on social media out there. Would it surprise any of us? Would it surprise any of us that the HR complaints are nothing more than, guess what? You weren't going to change the characters. You weren't going to make Cyclops an effeminate man. You weren't going to make him a beta male. You weren't going to put some kind of gay romance between Morph and Wolverine in the show. Would that hurt my fifis? He's taking away my fan fiction. I don't know what the truth is. That's just my speculation. That's just my humble common nerd's opinion. Sometimes I get things right. Sometimes I get things wrong. At the end of the day, though, the truth will eventually come out, either in this world or the next. But as of right now, this is a very fascinating story. And as a guy that defended DeMayo in the beginning and promoted his show before I'd ever even seen it because he was saying all of the right things, I feel it is my duty to continue to cover this because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this guy is some weird sicko out there who's trying to send pictures of his junk to absolutely everybody he can get a hold of. I have no idea. What I do know is that the Disney Corporation, especially with Marvel and all of the rest of it out there, is a corrupt organization that has done shady, disastrous, dumpster fire things and let their employees abuse their fan base and insult their audience for years. DeMayo was one of the few who literally turned that tide around and was saying all of the right things, respecting the friends and respecting the lore. It would not surprise me for one single second there is one little wokey inside of there that caused all of these problems. But at the end of the day, we don't know. It's just my speculation, and we will find out. So thanks for watching. Make sure you let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. Hashtag Team DeMayo, or hashtag Team Disney, or hashtag screw them both. Let me know what you think of all that down below. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the credits.